like I said, I was always true to it. My lyrics always didn't mean something, or it was always some twisted form of saying what I meant without really direct.
Back.
Cool. This is really a pain in the ass because actually nothing's dropping on my side, but
Right.
the console here tells me if I lose, someone for a second. And it's really annoying because if you're trying to listen to an interview, this is
Right.
where I know you listen to the show, and this is where my aggravation level starts to drive up, and then I start to become. After the interview, I'll get more irritated, and I hate saying interview, so I know I can bullshit with you here and there and not focus on all, but I don't do the traditional interview, so a lot of people don't get that either. It's like I don't ask the bands the same question. It depends who you are. I don't even write questions down. I might hit a couple of topics from talking to you, like about white trash and stuff like that.
Sure.
That's what makes people want to listen to the live aspect of it. Now it's like everybody's got broadcasters and radio stations, and sometimes you should just leave it for the people who are trained to do this and make sense of it. Like I think I have a pretty original show, so it all kind of falls to the same thing. It's like I tried to do the formal thing in the way a radio station. It just doesn't work for me. I gotta do my own thing, and that's what musicians need to do. That's what you need to do in life. I can't stand corporate lifestyles. I can't. That whole thing just drives me nuts. It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna do my own deal, and if people don't like it, I really don't care. And that's what sparks shows like Spoiling the Dead that I do. Yeah, 40 people only listen to it, but those 40 people like the show. So
Right.
the numbers don't matter to me. Never selling 1 million records. I sold over 100,000 records collectively. It didn't do shit for me. It didn't do
Right.
anything. It just
No, it doesn't.
it's just something cool.
I mean,
to
it's
say.
nice. It's nice. It's a way of feeling like you've accomplished something because you've worked hard at what you're doing. It's the same thing. For me, it's plays. I like
Right.
to see plays. That to me is a true barometer. People going on, they're listening.
Right.
And I'm pretty happy about that. I've only been online since 2010, so I really came out of the cracks. Nobody knows me down here, and only because I started touching base with some people that I knew from Queens, that all of them now have connected to me. I don't have a lot of Facebook friends because they're all those guys, and I keep it that way. They're the private.
Right.
I mean, happy about listening.
Right.
What's wrong with that? Yeah, and I haven't hired anybody. It's all organic, which is another thing. You go through like there's something I tried out, the Music Manifesto. Some guy bragging about how he got this deal. It's the biggest deal. Da 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 da. Da. I can get and he did the sending out an email constantly. That like man. I hate that stuff. Why would I want to go ahead and do that to people,
Right.
And I'm really hesitant about the mailing list, and everybody has that, phobia about it, and I say, I'm not going to blast you with a bunch of stuff. That's what the stream is for on Facebook or Twitter or, MySpace. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is.
I see it come up on my side too, where it says internet connection problems, but we'll work it through. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting some more time so I can start working on some new stuff, which I have been. I've got about, I don't know, bits and pieces of maybe about 5 or 6 songs already.
That's awesome. So what do you expect? Do you think you're going to get a new album out soon, or are you just going to...
No, it's going to take some time. I have other things that I'm doing, so it's not like the only thing in my life, you know. But I mean, I say there's I got like 20 something songs out there that are, you know, solo related between my Sun Rays Down stuff and the KATZINJAMMA solo project. And, you know, I sing about, you know, stuff like, for example, like that. You got to be straight up front. And, you know, it's just like the people who were supposed to be watching aren't. So it's just like, really? And then you hear all this stuff coming in from every corner where, you know, government just says whatever you want to hear. They put out polls. They say, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And then as soon as they get a poll, they go, okay, we're going to go on that bandwagon. And then they just push that and they tell all the people this, that, and the other. And then when it's all said and done, smoke's cleared, they're all lied to you, i.e. like Hillary Clinton with this, you know, email scandal. I mean, please, you know, stop.
Right.
So I write stuff about that. You know, wake up, people. You got to pay attention. You know, I also write about truth and, you know, being a person of integrity. You know, a lot of people like to say the Jesus thing or the Allah thing. Or to me, God is good over deception. You're either a good person or you're deceiving the hell out of everybody. Which is it?
I hear you, and you never know. Like with that whole religion thing, they're the first ones to judge. So
yeah,
when
you
you're
can
supposed
judge all
to
you
love
want.
everybody,
Yeah,
but
exactly. You know, so you know, if you want to get something a little bit more tangible, that's what my music is about. And do I try to write hooky stuff? Oh yeah, like even when you're listening to Overwhelming, that third song, which is kind of like melancholy in the first half, you know, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's like comes at you and punches you in the face with like a real punky.
That's what makes it exciting to write too. Is the fact that when you come up with something that's got the hook to it, it sounds good, and it's got, you know, that you're capable of doing that. So, I mean, I'm getting preoccupied with the whole internet connection getting lost, so I apologize. But,
okay.
You know, when you get something that's hooky, of course, I mean, it sounds good. That feels good to write something, to know that you have that capability of making something sound catchy and making something that someone wants to repeat. So,
man, when I was 3 years old, Jay, I listened to, you know, before my family life turned to turmoil, but before, you know, there was a time where everything was peachy, you know, and I heard Help, and I was done. That was it. I heard Help, and at 3 years old, and I'm sitting at the top of the stairs. What is that? You know?
I think, you know, I had three older siblings, so right off the bat from when I was a kid, 3 years old, I mean, Kiss, shit like that. So I remember the first time I heard AC/DC. I was never the biggest AC/DC fan, but when you're 9 years old and fucking Hell's Bells comes on, it's like, what the hell are they listening to? And I was like, that's what I want. I knew when I was 3 or 4 years old.
Oh, me too.
That I was going to grow up and be a musician.
My mom used to say when she used to take me to see my grandmother, she goes, he can't even speak, but he knows all the words to all these Beatles songs. How's he do it? You know?
Right. I mean,
he's old singing all the Beatles.
It was shocking to, like, you know, they knew I wanted to be a musician, but I didn't talk a lot as a kid. And today, to see what I do is I talk. And I've talked for a living, Sirius XM, ESPN, some talk radios in Tampa. It's just weird because I think it was just a family thing. And I played music. They knew I was going to be something in the arts and entertainment. But to go on the air and become... My mother always said, you know all the music and this and that. You should be a DJ. But I never said anything. So and now it's just funny all of these years later... That's actually, I hate calling myself a DJ, but that's actually what I do. I consider myself a show host, but I'm not really a traditional DJ, but it's just...
No, because then you'd be like something like Wolfman Jack, you know?
Right, right. That actually, people compare me to him when I do that. You're listening to the Jay Stone Show at rockmetaltalk.com. But, I mean, I have that radio element. I always did, but that's what I loved about it. I mean, I always liked talk radio. So, and that's what gets confusing, too, is like a lot of these stations are like, it's a rock show, it's a metal show, but he talks. And he brings these guests on for an hour, and that's why I was telling you, a lot of people don't like we're 55 minutes. It feels like 10 minutes went by. That's why people want to get to know the person that's playing the music. I do a 15-minute interview. What am I gonna get out of you? I'm gonna get a 15-minute plug for an album. I'm not gonna get to know about you know, where your nickname came from, how you created the music, why, how you met Micah, you know, from Nine Electric, how you got with White Trash. That's what people want to know. They want to know history. They want to hear about the life of the person writing the music.
And the funny thing is everybody gets all caught up with just the bands that are in the limelight. But the real meat and potatoes are the guys like us.
Right, exactly.
Who made the stepping stone. If it wasn't for the KATZINJAMMA live band, the White Trash, the Infrareds, the Attack, the Tequilas, you know, we're not having this conversation. People don't even know. You know, if you were to go on my stream and see the folks, you're probably going to know everybody.
Right.
And that's the thing. We get kind of pushed aside because we're not selling 50 billion albums and we're not in your face, you know.
Right. And if you
doesn't mean that we're not relevant.
Would you want to talk?
We're very relevant.
Would you want to promote? See, a lot of things like, I can get this guy on my show, but what does he care if anybody ever listens to it? What is it going to do for him when he, like, I could have scored an interview with Chris Cornell. Yeah, it's going to bring my stats up, but I'm going to have to do all the work at that point. Do you know what I'm saying? Is he going to say, I'm on the Jay Stone Show? He probably wouldn't even say if he was on MTV. And that's what the show needs, is people like that, like you promote. I'm not saying I don't have bigger people on, but I always pick someone that I know who enjoys the show, who is going to at least say something about it and get it out there. I have an opportunity where I can get the guys from a couple of the guys that are currently in the Guns N' Roses lineup. They're working on another project. Of course I'm going to have the guy on. Is it going to bring attention to the show? If I say I'm going to have this guy on, is his name going to strike people? No, but if his fans, if he says, hey, I'm going to be on the Jay Stone Show, that's going to bring the people to the show. But would that happen? I have a better time talking to, not that it's lesser known people, but people that are promoting and want to get their music out there. I don't need to. There's nothing I can do to get Chris Cornell. He's going to sell 1 million records either way when his new album comes out.
He's already in that clique.
What is he?
For me, my purpose of being on here, obviously, I want people to hear what I'm about, because I think my music takes you on a journey. It's not, just, the is. My songs are not always just a traditional setup. Like if you listen to Break Free, it's not your standard, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, solo, it crescendos and then it comes down and that's it.
Right.
So, it's about taking you on that journey, because life is tough as it is.
If you listen to some of the stuff that I have a couple of videos up. If you listen to this, I get your attention, I push the limit, and I end the song. I don't need to drag it out for 6, 7, 10, 11 minutes. I get to my point, and I'm on to the next one. Because live, I love original music, but right at the first song, I'm going to know, am I sticking with these guys?
Right.
This is really bad. So you know what? I'm gonna try to call him back here real quick, and we'll see what the fuck is going on, because this is really getting on my fucking nerves. Are you there, bro?